Yo, what's happening? What is happening? Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. And I am here and I am ready to talk some major trash. Not really. I'm not really here to talk some trash. Well, I mean, I guess I am. I guess. In a sense, I kind of am. I don't want to be necessarily the one person that ends up being the bad guy on everything that I do talk about, but sometimes you just end up having just, opinions that not everybody's gonna agree with, and I am okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a differentiate of, is that even a word? A difference in opinion. Let me just say that. I'm okay with having a difference in opinion on a lot of various types of different things as well. But a lot of people just tend to not agree with me on some stuff, not everything. Dawn is in the house as well. Ladies and gentlemen, in the house. And you are the first one in the house on this fabulous Wednesday. We are turning this into another episode on our slowly but surely growing YouTube channel that is called Unofficially IMO. And we are here, we are live, and you are here with me as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please do me a huge favor if you can. If you can. And it's entirely up to you. Absolutely. Entirely up to you. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, as you can see as well. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's make it happen. We got a poll up here on the YouTube chat, giving you several different options. Go ahead and pick the one that suits you best. Let's grow our channel. Let's go places together. We will do fantastic things. And you never know. One day we might end up on the Megyn Kelly show. You never know. You never know. You never know. But today is just one of those days where, you take a look at what's going on in the world and you have to sit there and think to yourself, you're like, holy cow. That's insane. I can't believe that is actually happening and people are getting away with that. And you have to tell yourself, like, man, are these people okay? You know what I mean? You have to sit there and wonder, like, are these people mentally okay, especially in Minnesota? And, it's a valid question. It really is. So I welcome all of you. Please sit back, relax. Let's go ahead and jump right in to today's festivities. Imagine this. A sitting congresswoman. We're going to get into a whole lot of different things here today, but I'm going to go ahead and get into my opening monologue. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for my opening monologue? This is my opening monologue. You guys are going to have a fantastic time with this one. I hope so. We're just going to have to wait and see exactly how it unfolds. But imagine this, okay? A sitting congresswoman denies being a millionaire, only for her net worth to skyrocket up to $30 million in a single year. Shady or savvy? I think it's kind of shady when you sit there and you actually really think about it. It's kind of shady. It's definitely not savvy, in my opinion. And what about protesters bursting into a Sunday church service, terrifying families and kids, all to rage against ICE, legal protest, or is it an outright crime? If that doesn't hook you for today's festivities, I don't know what will. That's what we're going to be talking about. So make sure you guys stick around and we will talk about the facts. That is definitely wilder than fiction. Welcome to Unofficially IMO, where we cut through the noise, expose the spin, and deliver the unfiltered truth. And this is called the Unofficial Breakdown. Let's start with the money mystery over with Representative Ilhan Omar. Is that how you say her name? Ilhan? Is it Ilhan Omar? Ilhan Omar. That's how you say her name. I can't even say her name. Ilhan Omar. Back in 2023, her financial disclosures showed humble holdings. Her husband's Rose Lake Capital Venture, the firm that he has, valued at just $1 to $1,000. And their, I don't even know how you say this, S2 Crew Winery? They have a winery. And that was just valued at $15,000 to $50,000. Now, this was all back in 2023. Now, when you fast forward all the way to 2025, filing, mind you, when they're filing for 2024, and then boom, the Rose Lake jumps to $5 million to $25 million, and this winery that she has hits $1 million to, or not the winery, the stew. I can't even pronounce that. What is that called? The stew? The Esther Crew hits between $1 million and $5 million. And that's pushing their combined net worth to be between $6 million and $30 million with those two businesses in play. That's a potential 3,500% surge in over 1 year, ladies and gentlemen. 3,500% surge in just 12 months. Her congressional salary, though, when you look at her congressional salary, it's just $174,000. There's no mega stocks or mansions in her name. She doesn't have any of that, but the eyebrows are raised sky high with her House Oversight Committee probing ties to Minnesota's massive Somali welfare fraud scandals. Omar calls it ridiculous, but the math screams for answers. Is that insider deals, or is it just a killer investment? You guys tell me. Is her net worth $30 million? She's going to deny it all day long. She'll tell you that it's not $30 million. I think she actually came out and said, I barely have thousands of dollars to my name, let alone $30 million. Sure. We'll just have to see about that, won't we? Yeah, we will. Now, switching over from Ilhan Omar, now we switch to the chaos in the pews. Just days ago, on January 18th, activist William Kelly, a known anti-ICE agitator, and about 30 protesters stormed city churches in St. Paul, Minnesota during Sunday's service. They chanted ICE out. That's their whole thing. ICE out. ICE, pretty much get out of here. And then they went ahead and also accused Pastor David Easterwood, that's the pastor's name of that church, of secretly heading the local ICE field office and shut down worship among terrifying parishioners as well, including their children. Videos show that the disruption turning ugly, and also with shouts and refusals to leave. And was there any laws that were broken at the same time when they bombarded that church? The DOJ's Civil Rights Division is investigating the potential violations of the FACE Act, which protects access to religious services from threats or obstruction, plus the Ku Klux Klan Act for intimidation. And then you have St. Paul Police. They're also probing disorderly threats or obstruction, St. Paul Police are probing disorderly conduct and criminal trespass on private property. They're looking into that as well. Then you have the Minnesota Attorney General, Keith Ellison. He's pushing back, calling it protected speech, but critics slam it as unholy harassment, not free expression. And when you look at that, where is the line being drawn? Where is the line being drawn in all that? So is it freedom of speech to just, walls your way into a church on a Sunday and, just go in there and spew all this crazy rhetoric and hate speech? They call it hate. It's not hate speech. It's straight up just hateful, and it's just hateful, period, for these guys to go in there, do what they were doing in that church service this past Sunday. And everybody was even, I think it was Don Lemonhead, I call him Don Lemonhead. He went in there and he was telling the pastor, he's like, hey, you know, are you going to talk to these people? I mean, are you just not going to say anything at all? And the pastor's just like, there's no talking to these guys. We can't, what am I going to say? They're in here. They're making noise. They're already upset. I mean, there's nothing I'm going to be able to say to any of these people. And he had a point there. There is definitely nothing that you're going to be able to say to any of those guys. There's just not. I mean, they came in there, they were on a mission, and they're being loud, they're being disruptive. So there's nothing that you can do. There's literally nothing you can say. And when you look at it in that sense, you can't help but to think, like, how many laws were actually broken here? Yeah, the Attorney General didn't even know the FACE Act. Yeah, he didn't. He probably doesn't know any of the acts. He probably doesn't even know any of the acts that were actually taking place. I wouldn't doubt it. I definitely wouldn't doubt it. And before we get into the church craziness over there in Minnesota, those poor people too, man. Those poor people that were in there and, you know, just minding their own business, worshiping God, they're in prayer. And then you have these people come in and just start bombarding the church and making all this ruckus. And it's just, you know, it's a damn shame that stuff like that happened. And they're lucky that stuff didn't go south for those protesters. I mean, because it could have turned ugly. It really could have. It could have went bad. Now, speaking of Ilhan Omar, I'm going to call her Ilhan. I think that's how you say her name. Ilhan Omar. There is, when we were talking about that, it just at the beginning of the video here, we were talking about her net worth. Okay. We were talking about how in the world is this woman worth, just in a span of 1 year, go from just, you know, the thousands of dollars in her net worth to literally $30 million. Now, again, she's going to deny that. But any sitting congressperson or congresswoman or congressman or whatever it is, for their net worth to jump that much in that short amount of time, that's a red flag. That's definitely a red flag. Okay. Anybody that sits there and tells you that there's no problem with that, there's nothing wrong with that, that's a problem. That is a huge problem for anybody to have their net worth skyrocket in that short amount of time. Now, again, this video that we're going to play here next is a video that highlights the House Oversight Committee investigation into Ilhan Omar's net worth, which financially discloses shows jumps from a negative $65,000 in 2018 up to $30 million in just 2026, despite her $174,000 congressional salary. And she's definitely getting looked into. Now, is any charges going to be brought against her? Possibly, if they can uncover. I mean, how much fraud is actually occurring in Minnesota? Billions of dollars worth. She's from Minnesota. Do you think she had anything to do with that fraud occurring?
Ilhan Omar's net worth went up nearly $30 million. The question is how. Here's what we know. Omar's husband, a former political consultant, owns a venture capital firm based in Washington, D.C. and a winery in California. Take a look at these numbers.
Wait, didn't she marry her brother, though? That was like the whole thing that a lot of people were talking about. So people were saying like, oh, she married her brother. Y'all remember that? Yeah. Yeah, this is... There was a lot of speculation going on that she married her brother to come over to the United States.
2023, Omar disclosed a maximum of $50,000 in assets at the winery. The next year, Dana, that number increased to $5 million. Meanwhile, her husband's company, Rose Lake Capital, reported a maximum of $1,000 in assets in 2023. The next year, it was $25 million. Despite that, Omar denied being a millionaire earlier this year, posting on X, quote, I barely have thousands, let alone millions. House Oversight.
Yeah, see, that's what I said. I barely have thousands, let alone millions. Well, you know what my answer to that would be, my response to that would be, is I would say, prove it. Prove to me that you're not a multimillionaire. Show me. You have businesses? Show me the amount of money that those businesses made in 1 year. You know, the winery or whatever else you got going on. Show us your income tax. Show us your tax return. You know, usually people with net worths like that, they pull an income from it. And if they don't pull an income from it, you should still be obligated to disclose any income that you're making while you're sitting and representing, either in the House of Representatives or Congress. You should have to disclose all that stuff, no matter what it is. If it's financial, you should be obligated to, because you are representing the people of your district when you're in there. They have all the rights in the world, especially when you're getting paid through taxpayer money. So those people deserve to know how much your net worth is and how much money you made. Everybody, that's all public. Everybody knows that you make about 170. Some of the people make around $200,000 a year. I think it just depends on what state you're in, what district you're in. But for her net worth to jump that high, she's claiming it's not. I call bullshit.
Site Committee Chairman James Comer tells Fox News an investigation is underway, writing, quote, "The committee is working on addressing ethics concerns regarding Representative Omar and her spouse, and we hope to have an update soon." But Omar says she's being targeted.
Ever since I've gotten to Congress, they have been doing these sort of weird ethics investigations. None of them have yielded anything because I have been as transparent as I can be.
Of course, others see it differently. Elon Musk says Omar committed fraud, while President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, quote,
"She should be in jail or even a worse punishment, sent back to Somalia." Could you imagine if they find some shit on her that she actually, made this money fraudulently or made it illegally, or she might have had a hand in the fraud that was taking place in Minnesota? Could you imagine? Of course, they're going to deny it. And they're going to say, no, that's not true. That, I made this money legitimately. Well, and my thing is, when the finger's being pointed at you like that, my thing is, I would want to clear my name as soon as possible. I mean, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you want to change the rhetoric here to go the opposite way to make you look like you're innocent? I mean, for me, I'd be fighting tooth and nail. Like, this is not true. I will prove it. We don't have to go to court to prove it. I'll show you right now. Let me show you. I'd hold a press conference. Here's my stocks that I've invested in. Here's how much money they made last year. Here's how much money I drew from those stocks that I made. The amount of financial income that I made for those stocks. Everything. I'd be putting everything out there, and you should, being a public official like that. Your net worth just in that short amount of time from 2018 to 2026, you should not jump to $30 million. She's claiming it's not, but she needs to prove it.
She should be in jail or even a worse punishment, sent back to Somalia. Omar authored the Meals Act in 2020, which loosened oversight on food programs during COVID. Federal prosecutors say one of those programs, Feeding Our Future, stole $250 million through fake meal sites. We did reach out to Omar as part of this story, but so far we have not heard back, Dana.
Okay, Nate Boy, thank you for that.
Yeah, you're not going to hear back from her. If you do hear anything, it's probably if they do start digging up some dirt on her, you're going to hear you're going to hear from her attorneys and not her. That's what you're going to hear from. Her attorneys are the ones that you're going to start seeing in front of podiums talking to the public about how my client is innocent. My client doesn't have a net worth of $30+ million. Yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. That's what you're going to hear, right? And, it's innocent until proven guilty. Unless you're a Republican, then it's guilty until proven innocent. That's what it feels like anyway. And, you could disagree with me on that. But it does feel like, it's innocent until proven guilty. That's the way it is. But if you're a Republican, nope, you're guilty first. Or it just depends on who you are. And that's 100% true. It depends on who did you vote for? Are you a Democrat or are you Republican? Oh, you're an independent, but you might be a little more liberal and not so much conservative. Okay, well, you're innocent until proven guilty. Oh, you voted Donald Trump? You're guilty. Prove your innocence. So she has her due process, right? So if they do find something, then she has all the right in the world to prove that she, never took any money that didn't belong to her, or whatever the case is, right? Whatever they end up finding on her. And then again, they might not find anything at all. And then they might come back and say, hey, she earned that money legitimately. I just don't know how you did earn the money legitimately. How did you do that? You know what I mean? How did you earn a $30 million net worth? Even people that make, high income, $500,000+ a year, business owner salary, whatever it is that you do, and you make a high living like that. Even those people, would probably sit there and probably tell you that earn that money legitimately. They would probably sit there and tell you like, I don't have a $30 million net worth and I have $500,000 a year salary. Unless you are really, really good with your money. And I'm talking, you still have a very high income. I'm talking between $500,000 and $1 million income. For you to earn that kind of money, it would still take years to earn a $30 million net worth. It would take years, right? Unless you write a book, because some of these people write books, and they sell a bunch of copies and they make millions of dollars that way. And you can invest money into retirement funds or whatever it is, right? And then you can grow that money and now you have a net worth of several $1 million, right? But I mean, come on. Unless you were a successful business person before you got into Congress, there's no flipping way, dude, that you've earned a $30 million net worth. I don't believe it. She's maintaining she's not worth that kind of money, but trust me, they're looking into it. They're going to find out if that's true or not. And I hope for your sake that it is not true, that this is all just a big misunderstanding and I earned this money legitimately, but it's not millions of dollars worth. Not on almost said $174 million. I almost, not on $174,000 a year salary. You just don't. Not even in 2018, all the way up to 2026. There's still no way. Absolutely no way. So I thought that was really interesting. And y'all let me know down in the comments. Do you agree? Do you think that Ilhan Omar is a multimillionaire and she earned it legitimately? Or do you think there's some pretty sus stuff that she might be dipping her hands into? Let me know down in the comments section below. So now we're going to go ahead and move on here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about William Kelly. You know what I mean? Who's William Kelly? When is her book coming out? The Art of the Scam. She might be in the middle of writing it right now as we speak. You never know. How I became a multimillionaire in under 10 years. How I became a multimillionaire. Tens of millions of dollars worth in less than 10 years. I'll show you how. Like I said, unless you write a book or you write, something that becomes very, people want that product and you become very successful at it. And, then you blow up and your business does very well, but that takes a long time, not just several years, that takes years, right? I mean, unless you're stupid lucky and something pops off for you and you earn that money very quickly, which sometimes I guess that can happen, right? If your business tends to do very well, but I would still think that would take several years, right? That's what I think. William Kelly. So who in the hell is this guy? Now, if I say his name out loud without showing you a photo of this man, I think he's a man. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's a dude. Okay. Well, he pretends to be a man, but he's no man. He's definitely not a man. In my opinion, he is not. The video of an anti-ICE activist, William Kelly, a combat veteran, definitely challenging U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi to arrest him after protesters disrupted a St. Paul, Minnesota church service on January 19th of this year, 2026, targeting Pastor David Eastwood over his alleged ICE role. Kelly insists that the group was welcomed, did not halt prayers or music, and quotes Fred Hampton's revolutionary slogan to frame the action as part of a broader resistance amid his history of harassing figures like police, union leaders, and DC troops. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem vowed arrests for the anti-ICE mob, citing federal law over First Amendment protections, while Minnesota AG Keith Ellison, we all love Keith Ellison, don't we, dismissed FACE Act violations, underscoring clashes between sanctuary state policies and Trump administration enforcement. So you got Ellison here saying that nothing was wrong. No laws were broken. No FACE Act was violated. None of that stuff. And then you got Pam Bondi that's looking to arrest this guy. So let's take a look and see exactly what this man said at a podium just the other day here. Just the other day. Let's take a look and see exactly what this guy is talking about. So anytime this guy talks, he is so loud. He always wants to projectile his craziness in such a loud manner. And am I saying there's anything wrong with that? No, if you're trying to do something right within reason and you're trying to get your point across for something, that's one thing. But the whole craziness surrounding this and this guy being front and center of the whole entire thing, like, come on, man, just anyway, let's play the video.
I mean, what we're seeing around this country is they're using their political influence to attack people that disagree with them. They're going to come at me with charges, and I'm not scared of that. There's no base for these charges. I did not block them from, their service. They welcomed us in. They never asked us.
Hold on. No. Did they? This is the first for me. Did the churchgoers welcome these protesters into the church? I don't know, man. I don't think they did. I think they just kind of went in there, didn't they? Loudmouth. This dude is very loud. I don't think you would hear this guy coming down. You would hear him coming down the sidewalk from like 2 blocks. Was that true? Because somebody fact checked that. Did somebody actually allow this guy into the church along with, however many other protesters there were? I don't think that's true. I think they just kind of made their way in there.
To leave. The police never came in and removed us.
Okay, so the police never showed up, most likely because they were told not to interfere with any of the shit that you guys are doing. I think the police were told by Mr. Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, if you want to call him that. I think that's just on paper, in my opinion. He's no leader. He's definitely not a leader. He's definitely not a man of upholding law and supporting the police. I think that Governor Walz and Mayor Fry is telling the police and state police, local police and state police, to not interfere with any of these protests. I have yet to see any of these police local police, I haven't seen it on camera, make any arrests with any of these protesters. It's all been ICE that I've seen. So I don't think police are involved, like, at all, for anything.
So we didn't stop their service. In fact, people were still praying the entire time. The music was still playing the entire time.
People were scared shitless. They were probably praying for their lives to not be ended because they didn't know what the hell you guys were going to do. They were scared to death. They were scared. They didn't want any part of whatever craziness that you were trying to bring inside that church. They didn't want anything to do with it. Plain and simple. So yeah, they're praying that they don't get hurt because it kind of looks like you were going to do some harm.
So, Pam Bondi, you want to come and arrest me? You want to come and give me charges? So be it. And for all the people giving me death threats, threatening my life, kill me. Go ahead, kill me. Because you know what? What we're seeing around this country is they're...
All right, I hit back by mistake here. Let me fast forward.
The entire time. So, Pam Bondi, you want to come and arrest me? You want to come and give me charges? So be it. And for all the people giving me death threats, threatening my life, kill me. Go ahead, kill me. Because you know what? As Fred Hampton said, you can kill the revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution.
Well, you know what? He might just get what he's asking for as far as being arrested, because he may very well probably get arrested in the next coming couple days. I wouldn't doubt it. So yeah, if you want to get arrested, you're probably going to get arrested, and you'll have federal charges brought against you, and you'll have to defend yourself in court. And you can't sit there and say, hey, the police never came in here and stopped anything. I don't think the police are going to interfere with anything that these guys are doing. Is that the whole video? Yeah, that's the whole video. That's the whole video right there. Ladies and gentlemen, so this makes me sick to my stomach. These guys thought they had all the power in the world to go in there and protest. No. You did not. You are not allowed to go into a place of worship the way that you did and disrupt the service and scare the shit out of everybody and just get and did what you did. You can't do that. Okay. If you want to wait outside and stay outside on the sidewalk or in the street, wherever you were, and scream and yell and protest outside, sure, you go right ahead. That's your right. You're allowed to protest. You know, it's your First Amendment right. Go do you. You do your thing. But it's within reason. There's a reason why you can't go into a place like that and disrupt and cause rhetoric and chaos amongst the people. You can't do that. Had he stayed on the street and did what he did, all of them actually, including Don Lemon, a so-called independent journalist, had they stayed on the street and did that, then they would have been perfectly within their limits to do so. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not what happened. And you wouldn't be hearing Pam Bondi, talk about arresting him or arresting any of the protesters or any of that. So you wouldn't be hearing about that. But the way they went about doing it caused the craziness. And that's what happened. And that's the reason why, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you tell me, what do you think? Do you think that man's going to be arrested? Do you think any of the protesters will be arrested and criminal charges brought against them? Let me know that in the comments. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you think.